Macron meets with Xi, urges him to help end war. French President Emmanuel Macron is meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing as European leaders try to shore up ties with China, a major trade partner for the continent, and to persuade Beijing to use its relationship with Moscow to help stop the war in Ukraine. Macron's visit follows a meeting between Xi and Russian President Vladimir Putin last month in Moscow. Sitting across from Xi, Macron said Russia's war in Ukraine has ended decades of peace in Europe. "I know I can count on you to bring Russia back to reason and everyone back to the negotiating table," he told the Chinese leader. Here's the latest on the war and its ripple effects across the globe. Key developments. China has a major role to play in building peace, Macron said Thursday ahead of talks in Beijing, where he is joined by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. "This is what I have come to discuss, to move forward on," the French president tweeted, adding that they would also discuss our businesses, the climate and biodiversity, and food security. She said that China, together with France, calls for restraint from all international partners to avoid an escalation of the crisis in Ukraine. She said earlier that the two countries have the ability and responsibility to transcend differences. "We count on China not to provide military equipment to Russia," von der Leyen said Thursday, according to Reuters. She held a meeting with Xi and Macron, which she described as an opportunity for European-Chinese dialogue. The Moscow City Court will hear an appeal from Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich's defense on April 18th, a court press service told Russian news agencies. The hearing is expected to be recorded but closed to the public. Russian authorities detained the 31-year-old American last week on espionage charges, which the journal describes as bogus, and international media organizations have called for his release. More than 200 Russian journalists and activists also demanded Gershkovich's immediate release. In a letter, the group called the case preposterous and unjust. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Wednesday he believes that the American journalist was wrongfully detained. Global impact. Putin is hosting Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, a staunch Russian ally, in Moscow on Thursday, according to Russian state-owned news agency TASS. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, when asked about the potential deployment of Russian nuclear weapons in Belarus, said the plan is a response to NATO moving closer to Russia's borders. Sweden's prosecution authorities said it remains unclear who was behind sabotaging the Nord Stream pipeline in the Baltic Sea last year. "The circumstances are difficult to investigate," said public prosecutor Mats Ljungqvist, who is leading an investigation into the explosions that hit the pipelines built to carry natural gas from Russia to Europe. Poland is planning to send warfighter jets to Ukraine, its president said after welcoming Zelensky for a state visit on Wednesday. Analysis from our correspondents. Russia's Lefortovo prison is a relic of Soviet control that never left. Gershkovich is being held at Lefortovo prison in eastern Moscow, first built as a military penitentiary by Tsarist authorities in 1881. Today, it is used largely by the KGB's successor, the Federal Security Service, or FSB, as a pretrial detention facility, Adam Taylor writes. The prison is known for the isolation that it places on prisoners, Taylor reports. The arrest of an accredited foreign journalist on seemingly far-fetched espionage charges is an echo of the Soviet Union's Cold War tactics, and a move his employer and those who know him say is